Well, hi, welcome to Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. And if you notice the fireworks, it's because our 16th anniversary. We have been on the show 16 years, bringing such wonderful guests to our stage and to you, our community. All of these guests make our community a better place to live in. They're working very hard for many organizations, and we're only going to be talking about a few today. Madeline Kennedy, she is a person with ALS.
Yes.
We've heard about the Ice Bucket Challenge, and I think that has really raised awareness of what ALS is.
It's been tremendous. We have been such a disease in the shadows, almost a secret disease. It's been around since 1869.
Really?
Nobody heard of it. That's when it was
first
first identified.
Disease.
Then Lou Gehrig's.
It got a name.
It got a name. But in the current generation, people don't even know who Lou Gehrig is. And there's been very little progress.
What a great movie that was.
Yeah. Well, but now, with the Ice Bucket Challenge, people do know about ALS. I'm not sure they always know what it is, so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But it has brought it to the forefront. You know, they've said that, well, there is no known cause,
no etiology,
cure,
they don't know what
and no effective treatment.
Yeah.
So one of the phrases that is used is that ALS is not incurable, it's underfunded.
Yeah.
And this,
because you got to find out what the cause is.
Exactly.
So that you can head it off at the pass. And then how do you treat it once a person does have it? How can you stem it, get rid of, not maybe get rid of it, but to
treat it.
Treat it.
You know, you can live with HIV now.
Yeah.
So,
and years ago you couldn't.
No, you couldn't. So
and that was in the 80s.
We're very, the biggest thing about the ALS challenge for me, the Ice Bucket Challenge, is that it has given us hope. And that has been in short supply in the ALS world. And that's the best I can say. It's brought us out of the shadows, people know about it, and it brings us hope.
And when we talk about ALS, of course, if you've seen the movie The Pride of the Yankees, you heard about Lou Gehrig's disease and that wonderful speech that he makes at his last speech. It's a disease. Well, I don't know. It's disease. Well, it's like there's no virus or we don't know.
They don't know. It's very complicated. It involves the nerves in the brain. They think it's somehow similar in some ways to Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, in that when they find the secrets to unlocking those diseases, they will be useful in other avenues.
Right, and of course stem cell research
really that's
helps.
Tremendous, but that's still in its infancy.
Yeah.
But what happens with ALS is that the nerves die, and they don't know why, but a switch gets flipped.
And there's no synapse.
Once the switch is flipped, there's no way to turn it off, and so it just progresses. So when the nerves die, they can't talk with the muscles, and when the muscles can't be moved, then they become paralyzed. And the journey is different for each of us. For me, it has started in my legs. You see, I have braces on my legs so I don't trip on my toes. But I hardly walk at all. I have a power chair at home. I can't stand for more than a minute. But other people, it will start in their hands. Other people, it'll start in their mouths. Slurred speech. It looks like they're drunk or they've had a stroke. But the issue is it progresses. And so wherever it begins, it's going to progress. And it eventually takes over all of your voluntary.
Lengths of time. They say it goes up to 10 years or more. Yeah.
The majority of people die within 2 to 5 years. A few live to 10, and a very small percentage beyond that. But it progresses until all the muscles are paralyzed, and when you can't swallow, then you get a feeding tube, and when you can't breathe, well, then that's when you die.
I know.
So,
I know. And you're living with this.
I am living with it.
And you have such a great attitude. You
well,
really do. You have a wonderful attitude.
Thank you. I work really hard on focusing on what I can do instead of what I can't do.
And we have some pictures because you were a golfer.
Yes, I loved golf.
Yeah. So can we take a look at some of those photos? And that's your adaptive
golf?
That's
me. I have an adaptive golf cart that it's a single-person cart, and I get to turn myself without leaving the cart, and then the seat raises up, and I can hit the golf ball right from that, and I can drive it right onto the green, onto the tee, and it keeps me out there, and it makes me feel normal again. So I love that.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things with any illness is that you don't want to lose the normalcy that you've had. in your life. Are you working on the fashion show?
I am.
Tell me about that.
We're having a fashion show. The ALS St. Peter's Regional Center.
They're wonderful.
They are awesome.
Wonderful.
They provide 13 counties of care for us, and it's very hands-on. It's equipment, it's care, it's doctors. And if we didn't have them, you'd have to go to Syracuse or to Boston, and they're just a tremendous set of people. And we're having a fashion show on the 28th of September at the Country Club of Troy, and it'll be featuring Cobby clothing and Silpata jewelry. And last year we were sold out, and it was a tremendous event. We had so much fun, and I do hope people will.
You were honored at that one.
I was.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak again this year.
Yeah, and really, if you go to just go to her website and you'll get the links. I was very impressed because I did listen to your speech and everything.
Thank you.
I watched part of that. It's just, you know, there are adversities in life, and you can take a look at them any way you want. And you have a very positive attitude, and that's going to stand you in good stead.
Well, early on in this disease, I mean, coming to grips with this disease is very hard.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
But
getting the diagnosis.
I came up with the line or the motto that I needed to find a way to keep my fear of tomorrow from robbing me of my today.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. So I do a lot of things. I've taken up different activities. I've taken up bridge. I'm so active. I mean, I'm busier now than I've ever been. My new job is ALS advocacy. I was a nurse as my career.
So you really had you've got a good background.
I have an understanding,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, you have a real understanding.
I was a nurse, and I was teaching at Russell Sage for the last 10 years. But I can't do that now, but I'm still very busy doing, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you're an advocate. And you know, once you're an advocate, your whole being gets focused. And it's important to have a focus, and that you're not lamenting and sitting home and feeling. I mean, because there are many people who, when they have an illness, it consumes them. And they kind of, I love what you say, don't let the future rob you of today, because that's so important.
Thank you.
Because it's so easy to kind of wallow in whatever it is. And it's not just ALS. There's other, illnesses that can create the same feeling of
despair.
Despair. That's a good word.
I brought you something.
You did, a flower.
I did. This is the blue cornflower, and it is the international symbol of hope for ALS.
Oh, how wonderful.
And I have one, and there's one for you.
And I'm going to wear that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really lovely.
But the flower appears delicate, but it's tenacious, just like us.
Well, and I love cornflowers. They're pretty, very beautiful flower. ConquerALS.com is your website.
That's my personal website, and it's about living with ALS. It's not a professional site. It's not a funding site. It's not asking for money. It's just talking about living with ALS, and I think it's useful for people who have ALS or whose loved ones have ALS. And that's what I'm doing.
You're an advocate.
I'm doing what I can. I'm an advocate. That's my job.
And I applaud you for what you're doing.
And we have a walk coming up too.
Oh, and that's on October the 20th?
October 25th.
I know, I wrote it down.
It's a Saturday in Saratoga. And that will also benefit the St. Peter's ALS Regional Center.
Right.
And I think for information on either of these events, it's probably best just to call the ALS Center and get the information. I think you have their phone number.
And also, if you go to my website and check out my newsletter, that information is there. I mean, it's sketchy, but it's there. And you can also go to my Facebook page, and that information will be posted right after this show. I put that up there. So you're gonna be on Facebook there, and just get your message right out there, Madeline. It's such a joy to meet you. You're just such an inspiration.
The Ice Bucket Challenge has done so much for us.
I know it has. It has. I mean, you keep seeing it, and somebody suggested that, and I said, I'm sure the carpeting wouldn't care for it here, so we're not doing that. But. And did we? Oh, there's the rest of the photos.
Oh yes, that's the walk a couple of years ago in Saratoga, and that was the Junior League of Troy who was out to promote me, or to support me. That's my son Jeffrey, and we went to the ALS Advocacy Day in D.C.
Oh wow!
And so we met with our representatives. There's one of our groups from our local area. We met there as Congressman Gibson. And I think you've also got Congressman Tonko in another one. This is a different picture. This is in Lourdes, where I went for a religious pilgrimage.
Oh.
But there's Tonko, and we went and we lobbied all of our representatives to have some funding. Every year, they only give 10 million, but we have to beg for it, and they cut it back to 7.5. But
that's a big drop.
That's
a big drop.
It is, and I don't know if the Ice Bucket Challenge will make it easier or harder.
Yeah, 40 some odd $40 million, I think.
No, it was over 100.
100 billion.
Yeah.
See, well,
so it's
who's
awesome.
Counting?
It's awesome.
Great.
And I just hope that
lots
it goes,
of research.
And I hope we can find some research and make it a disease that you can live with and not just die from.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking with our guest, Jeff Smith. We'll find out about your home and what you can expect of what ALS is.
It's been tremendous. We have been such a disease in the shadows, almost a secret disease. It's been around since 1869.
Really?
Nobody heard of it. That's when it was first
Lou Gehrig's
identified.
Disease.
Then Lou Gehrig.
It got a name.
It got a name, but in the current generation,
a better place to live in. They're working very hard for many organizations, and we're only going to be talking about a few today. Madeline Kennedy, she is a person with ALS.
Yes.
We've heard about the Ice Bucket Challenge, and I think that has really raised awareness. And if you notice the fireworks, it's because our 16th anniversary. We have been on the show 16 years, bringing such wonderful guests to our stage and to you, our community. All of these guests make our community.
People don't even know who Lou Gehrig is, and there's been very little progress.
What a great movie that was.
Yeah. Well, but now, with the Ice Bucket Challenge, people do know about ALS. I'm not sure they always know what it is, so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But it has brought it to the fore.
Well, hi, welcome to Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region.